everybody, welcome to Magic of Pearls live with Gemology Jen. I'm Gemology Jen. So far we talked about the many colors of pearls and their meanings and their amazing physical, spiritual, and emotional benefits that you get from wearing them. And if you missed them, no worries, they live in our magical group, Jewelry Magic with Gemology Jen. So go back and take a look at your convenience, and let me tell you, you'll love them. You won't want to miss them. So now let's talk about the value factors and what to look for when choosing and buying pearls to wear. If you can believe it, GIA and other gem specialists have an actual grading system that they use to grade pearls. So it's not only, colored stones and diamonds that are scrutinized and graded with different value factors. Pearls actually have their own standards in which they're graded. And as a former GIA instructor, we used to take a whole week to learn about pearls and pearl grading, and I actually used to teach about colored pearls and how to grade colored pearls. So there is lots to learn, but since I want to squeeze it into a short period of time so that you can just get the gist of what to look for when buying pearls, I'm going to quickly break down the important things you need to know when choosing pearls and what adds to their value. So GIA has a pearl grading system consisting of 7 pearl value factors. So the first is size, and this is how large the pearl is in millimeters. Usually a strand has similar sizes within a half a millimeter, so you can get a description of 6 to 6.5 millimeter, 7 to 7.5 millimeter, and obviously the larger you go, the more rare and the longer it took to make this particular pearl, so it will be more expensive. The next is shape. So since pearls are created in nature, each shape is unique, but you want the closest to round as possible. The next is color. So this is actually the body color of the pearl. So we talked about the different colors in our first talk about pearls, and the color also includes an overtone. So it's kind of like how women put on blush, right? So it's just like a light coating of color on top of your skin. So that's what overtone is. So you can have a rosé overtone, which is like a pink, a green overtone, or a blue overtone. So this makes that body color and that color of pearl much more interesting with this kind of color overlay that you'll see. And this is part of the iridescence or orient of the pearl and is an added factor. So if you have a beautiful body color with an extra overtone, then it will create that rarity and be more expensive. The next is luster, and luster is how sharp the light reflection is from the surface. So a lot of times the smoother the nacre or the outside surface and the thicker it is, you'll have a higher luster. So really nice shine to that pearl. And you can tell when you put it under a light that you'll have a sharp spot that is reflecting the light instead of like a diffused large reflection. So the smaller the reflected light is, the sharper that luster is. The next is surface quality. So pearls are an organic material, plus they are solid and opaque. So we only judge the surface of the pearl. So for almost all pearls, you will get blemishes such as pitting, which are little holes in it, and that's really from nature. Or you can have wrinkles where it's not smooth, it has like a little bit of a bumpy texture. Or from wear or maybe dried up, it could crack or chip. Chips occur a lot if you're, banging around your pearls, or if your nacre is thin and it just starts to peel off or chip off. The next is nacre quality, so how thick the outer coating is, and this will depend on how long it stays in that mollusk or in that shell that it's growing inside of. And the more nacre you have, the more durable, and usually the higher the luster will be, like we talked about. The last is matching. So this is if you have a strand or a pair of earrings, basically more than one pearl. So this is important when you're buying that pearl necklace. So you want all of the colors to match. You may even want the overtones to match. You may not want to have one pink overtone, a rosé overtone, one blue overtone. So you kind of want all of the colors to match, unless it's intentional that it's a multicolored strand or multicolored bracelet or something like that. So you usually want to match that color, the overtone, the size, and the luster. So when buying pearls, you want to keep these 7 factors in mind. For a strand, the trick is to lay the strand out on something soft. So you don't want to have it on anything hard. You want to lay it down on something soft, and it's preferable if there's like a light above the strand when you're looking at these pearls. And you want to just roll the pearls back and forth, usually, like I said, under a light. So you don't want to roll it on something hard because it could scratch it. And then you want to look to see if there's any kind of variations in size, shape, color, blemishes, luster, or sometimes there can be dead spots. So as you're rolling it, you can see the variations. Something that's not completely round will kind of wobble when it rolls, right? And then a lot of times pearls, like I said, since it's nature, can have certain little dead spots or more blemishes on one side than the other as it was growing. So those are things that you want to look for. And for nacre thickness, you need to look at the drill hole. So this is where the silk string goes inside the pearl. So you kind of hold back the string and you look at the drill hole, and you really need some sort of experience to know what you're looking at, because you want to look at the difference between where the bead of that cultured pearl ends and where the top of the nacre begins. So that will be how thick your nacre is. And if it's really thin, then you can start to see the bead showing through. So you won't have any coating of that nacre. You'll start to see some blinking of, usually they use a mother of pearl bead, which has a little bit of a iridescence as well to it. It also will have a very low luster when it has a thin nacre, and that will really affect not only that look, but the durability as well. Like I said before, it may chip easier, it may start to peel easier. So you really want something with a thicker luster, a thicker nacre, to have that higher luster and to be more durable. You also want to keep in mind that there are 4 major types of cultured pearls to choose from, and each will vary in possible size, range, color, and of course value. So in jewelry stores, the most common are the Akoya cultured pearl. So this type is most familiar to many jewelry customers, and you find them produced in Japan and China in salt water, and these are called Akoya cultured pearls, and they come in white, cream, yellow, blue, and pink. And the more expensive Akoya pearls will be between 8 to 11 millimeters. So they come as big as 11 millimeters, with the average size being 6 to 8 millimeters. So So typically you'll find them in that range. So 6 to 8 millimeters is normal. Anything above that will be more expensive, of course. And usually they're perfectly round or mostly round, white with a pink overtone or a rosé overtone, so that glow we talked about. And it will have high luster. It will be clean with no blemishes and a thick nacre, so that outside coating. And the less in size, so the smaller in size, the more off round the shape is, the more it's on the cream side of color, the lower the luster, and if the surface condition is more pitted or has more blemishes and the nacre quality is thinner, the less the value will be. The second I want to talk about is the most expensive. Can you guess which one this is? This is the South Sea pearl. So the South Sea cultured pearl. So the main sources of these cultured pearls are from Australia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. So South Sea cultured pearls are much more expensive and luxurious than the typical Akoya or freshwater pearl. They range in size from 8 to 20 millimeters, so pretty big, with most of the pearls being oval, so not round, so oval, button shaped, or a drop or teardrop in shape. So the larger the size and the more round, these are the most rare and the most expensive form of South Sea cultured pearls. There are various colors that are natural to South Sea, and that's white, cream, silver, yellow, an orangey yellow, and blue. And they can have a rosé, green, or blue overtone, and sometimes there can be two overtones at once. So they can have a rosé and green, or a blue and green, and the best will have no pitting or blemishes, and a high shiny luster, and a good nacre thickness, of course. The third I wanted to talk about is the Tahitian cultured pearl, and this is moderate to high price. And the Tahitian pearls are primarily made around the islands of French Polynesia. So the most familiar of these is Tahiti. So who wants to book their next vacation to Tahiti and get themselves some Tahitian pearls, right? I always wanted to go diving and try and find a pearl in a mollusk. I thought that would be so cool. But anyway, these are saltwater cultured pearls, and they range in size from 9 to 14 millimeters, so still pretty big, and are mostly round or baroque. Baroque means a free form, so it doesn't have a typical formation or a typical shape that you can describe in words, basically. So it's kind of like abstract. And the majority of the pearls are black, gray, brown, with hues of blue to green, purple, or yellowish green, with pink, green, or blue overtone. So they still have those overtones. And usually when it has that baroque or free form, then the light scatters. So you get more of those iridescent colors, and you get more of those overtone colors, which are really cool. So some will display two overtone colors like blue and green or rosé and green, and the rarest form is the peacock. This is when it has a black body color and rosé and green overtone, so it will look like peacock colors. So the baroque or freeform shapes, like I said, will display more of these overtones due to the light bouncing off of the irregular surface. And for Tahitian pearl jewelry, the most expensive is when the colors are mixed, the luster is high, and there are no blemishes, and the nacre thickness is acceptable or thick. And the last one I wanted to talk about is the freshwater pearl, and this is your least expensive pearl. And these pearls are usually cultured in freshwater lakes and ponds, creating a wide range of sizes, shapes, and colors, and are mainly produced in China and the United States. Um, I I went to China a long time ago and once bought a strand of these black salt freshwater pearls, and I made this necklace from it a long time ago. And we went to go visit a pearl market, and they had every type of pearl there, mostly freshwater pearls, but they're all different sizes, all different colors. And at that time, I used to make beaded jewelry, so I used to love to buy pearls and make all sorts of different necklaces. And these are the most affordable pearls due to the fact that production is so large, and each mollusk or each shell can produce a high quantity of cultured pearls rather than just one. So the sizes, that's why they can be so small, because the sizes range from 4 to 14 millimeters and are most commonly baroque or irregular in shape. Um, the colors range from white, cream, yellow, orange, pink, and purple. And they also have rosé, blue, or green overtone. And the most expensive of the freshwater are large white baroque, shaped with high luster and acceptable nacre quality. So with these, you kind of want to be careful for pearls dyed bright and unusual colors, because they do come in many different colors. But when it's like a neon color, you also want to look at the silk to see if there's any dye on the silk. Then it's usually dyed. So you want to be careful with that. And you really couldn't find a strand for, I forgot how much I paid. I think I paid $80 for a strand of these black pearls, which is pretty cheap, I think, for that. They're 10 millimeters. They're 10 millimeters, so $80 for a whole strand of black freshwater pearls, I think is a good deal. Anyway, so that's all about pearls and pearl grading. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments or DM me. If you want any advice on how to buy pearls, I'm here for you. And I will talk to you guys next week about harnessing those amazing pearl powers. And have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.